Hello, fabulous fans and superstars of my dear friend Nadiya Shah. I am Yuriria Robles and I wish you a very happy new year 2025. Welcome to the predictions for each sign of the month of January. Remember to check your sun sign, your ascendant sign, and your moon sign so that you have a more complete prediction. Cancer, for you, lunar movements are always very important. So if the month begins with a tense dialogue imposed by the Moon-Pluto conjunction in exact opposition to Mars, it means a work of action and confrontation, establishing a power struggle in the area of resources, both your own and those of others. You find a person or condition that confronts the opinion you share with others about everyone's resources. This person proposes an interaction between the leader and the group in a balanced way. Listen with an open mind and intelligent disposition and ask that the leader, even if he is created, take you and the group into account. He must show intelligence and discipline to control his obsession with the new. The strength is in the dialogue. As Mars is in a period of retrograde, on the 6th, he re-enters Cancer in your sign, emphasizing tenacity and implacability to defend yourself, your family, what you want, and gives you security. Mars, in his tense dialogue with the Sun in Capricorn, with his attention, proposes that you attend to the goals you want to achieve, but you have the focus on yourself and your self-protection. This dialogue generates anxiety and tension because moving towards the achievement of goals implies leaving the past behind, and that is scary, especially on the 13th when the full moon occurs together with Mars, strengthening all values and what made you get to where you are, and you feel that the goals and paths to improve put at risk what has been achieved. This process will extend until April, and only then will we return to the dynamic that was set on January 1st, allowing a leadership that is capable of moving the group towards the future with discipline and intelligence. Luckily for you, Venus is ending its passage in Aquarius, but will move on the 3rd to Pisces in harmony with Cancer, and where its energy is expressed gently, imposing its logic of romance and idealism. For you, in the area of faith, beliefs, higher studies, and abroad, then there are several possibilities. That you discover a source of the divine inspiration that drives your spirit towards the spiritual search, that you develop an artistic vision in search of the ideal beauty, that the studies you are carrying out present you with a universal ideology, or that a person from abroad arrives and dazzles you with his charisma and glamour. At first, it will be very gentle. However, the first encounter of Venus in this sign is with Saturn on the 18th, which really protects you, because you can ask or feel common sense, realism, and commitment in any of the options. But it also establishes a harmonious dialogue with Mars in your sign, emphasizing with this love of the past and at the same time the love of the new, because Uranus imposes a brief harmonic link. Later, towards the end of the month, on the 28th, Venus will reach the degree to which it will return in its retrograde period in March and April. On the 29th, it reaches Neptune in Pisces, and the North Node also enters these signs. So all this means a great idealization, a longing for love and desire that surpasses everything imagined. On the non-coherent side, it means a great sacrifice and detachment from reality. Beware of retrograde, which brings its own risks of recklessness. This movement to Pisces is emphasized by the North Node, which will remain in Pisces for 18 months, with its counterpart, the South Node in Virgo. This change affects relationships that will insatiably seek idealization. That is natural to the North Node in Pisces, but will be considerably increased by the Venus-Neptune conjunction. The objective of this configuration is to re-establish faith in love and in the ideal, but it brings the stamp of impatience, because advances on Aries and returns to the inferior conjunction, and will end in a long conjunction with Saturn, which is where it began, bringing the idealistic and loving adventure to reality. For you, the lunar moments are always very important, but this month, the full moon on the 13th falls precisely in your sign together with Mars. And although Pluto has already moved out of your house of relationships, we continue with the focus there for now. We must concentrate on matters that gives you security, but avoiding resentment and clinging to things, situations, and relationships that have already given themselves. Growth and order are configured by Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces. This implies a conflict of possibilities. The dilemma is to change or continue as is, and Mars in Cancer is emphasizing the attachment to the past, and Pluto imposes its orientation towards the future, making the choice even more tense and complex. The dilemma is to take a risk or deny an opportunity. Reconciling this is the work. This is a process that will be in effect until mid-year. As Saturn in Pisces really protects you in the figure of teachers, guides, or mentors, you will have no problem following their advice. The problem is that they bring you multiple possibilities and opinions, but above all, they will ask you to take things more lightly, spontaneously, to look around, but your intense nature feels that this is superficial and scattered. What is useful for you in this sense is that you rely on this to be able to let go of attachments, grudges, and resentments, those who hurt you. Mars will return to the 18th degree of your sign and brings you the mission of reviewing all the past, to free yourself even from feeling hurt, and to be able to free yourself from past things that no longer have a reason to exist, and that without them you can feel freer and lighter. You started doing this since December, and do not hold on to anything that brings you sadness or pain. Seek to balance with your partner the sense and maturity to move forward. It will take time for sure, but not years, at least from now until May. In addition, the opposition of the Sun and Mercury to Mars can lead you to discussions due to demands as far as possible. Be warned and try to make them constructive or avoid them altogether so that they do not become a power struggle. Use that to give yourself strength and free yourself from what is no longer, and have energy to focus on the present, which is where you can prepare a greater willingness to create new values and resources. Saturn is asking you to tone down the drama and victimization, and to avoid gossip or superficiality of others, and not to believe everything you think. On the 13th, when the full moon forms in Cancer, it does so in conjunction with Mars, which emphasizes the confrontation with Pluto that we have been pointing out. Therefore, taking care of security should not distract us from our goal, because if we do not risk changing, improving ourselves internally, and we hide by protecting what we know, we will lose progress and the purpose will not be fulfilled. On the other hand, risking everything by losing security is not advisable either. So balance is necessary, not only during this day, but the following week, from the 30th to the 21st of the month, when the Sun will join this dialogue. Neptune allows us to imagine how improvement would be possible without losing security. Perhaps we can sacrifice some things, situations, or relationships in search of progress, realizing that they are really a burden or a comfort zone, and that we can no longer stay in the same place or in the same situation. Then we can be honest, use diplomacy and elegance to say goodbye to the old and strive to reach the new. As I said at the beginning, it requires to exercise discipline, effort, and willpower, above all, to reach the desired goal. Now let us remember that belonging does not mean adjusting or conforming to what others want or order. It is about offering the best of ourselves and negotiating with others. If they do not want, then it's not the case. On the other hand, accepting what others are and offer. If you don't want, then there's no obligation to stay. but by accepting each and everyone obtains the responsibility of their actions, fulfilling their obligations, maintaining a creative attitude in a group. Even through Uranus, we have the willingness to change the custom and the old. Mercury, in its passage through Capricorn, also focuses towards the goal, but even with this, we can insist on the fear that gives us to lose what we have gained, even if it means improvement. It is wanting to put on new shoes without taking off the old ones. This full moon emphasizes the decision process between the old and the new. Leaving the comfort zone requires courage and knowing how to adapt to the unknown. The above will be idealized because Neptune is lifting the veil of the ideal of the past, and Pluto supports this mirage, but at the same time we are tempted by the new due to the harmonious dialogue with Uranus at this time. In addition, we feel the confrontation of the wound of the past with the rebellion to reach an agreement. We are in no way willing to give in on anything. Also, Venus at this time, together with Saturn, cooperates in the tense dialogue with Jupiter that proposes an excess of communication with multiple voices and proposals that cause dispersion, and yet the resolution of this conflict would make us win the future. I propose calm and patience because the pressure of the new is inevitable. Just before the end of the month, on the 29th, the new moon, preceded by Pluto and Mercury, reinforces the sense of renewal in the groups to which we belong, in hopes, in ideologies, and above all, in what we consider intelligent. With the new moon, you will become aware that from now on, it will be about managing the resources you share with your partners and spouse, considering technology to take care of them, manage them, and multiply them. For this reason, you cannot afford to cling to the past beyond what is indispensable. Being calm and sensible, looking for new beliefs and concepts that help you feel more secure instead of people, situations, or things. The movement of the North Node on this very day will focus you on understanding new ways of thinking, believing and knowing. Contact with the new people will support you to leave behind analysis, the need for perfection, and the obsession with details. You will feel lighter in spirit if you manage to overcome the longing for what was. Also, at that time, Mars receives all the support to find reasons, feelings to preserve what is valuable, and with this we will feel strong to defend in an orderly and sensible manner our beliefs, policies, and tastes. This contradiction between the group in Pisces and the group in Aquarius makes it difficult for us to act. On the one hand, it awakens rebellion, and on the other, the wound of acting at the wrong time or without success. The essential thing in terms of relationships is to accept that we must communicate without falling into dramas, manipulations, or victimization. But the obligation now and for 18th month is to understand feelings, our own and those of others. Analysis will not be in fashion, but we must try to take them into account anyways. The path to resolution is long and goes in this direction. First, let us give space to the new, asking ourselves what we want to free ourselves from. Then, let us review what is truly valuable, what inspires us and has a special value in our heart. Let us make the decision to act with discipline and then remember our purposes and goals. It is with all this that we understand that changing is for our own good. Neither foolishness nor dramas help us at this time. To the end of the month, the emphasis is on Aquarius. It helps us to be intelligent, but let us remember that we are beginning to revalue intelligence. However high it may be, it cannot isolate us through arrogance. It is rather to teach, to communicate to others, to suggest new paths and solutions, not to impose them by force, even if it is Pluto. Let us choose the path of transformation. Let us avoid the path of imposition. We can do it.